facts. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Welcome back, my friends. Oh man, that's why it's not showing up. Man, I had a whole thing ready to go, and I shut down my chat GPT on accident. So there's that. That's all right. We mess around a little bit at the very beginning anyway, but what I was going to say was most people think quitting drinking will immediately make life better, but instead, early sobriety can feel like you're emotionally unstable. It'll feel mentally loud. It might feel physically strange. It might feel spiritually uncomfortable. The truth is your brain, your body, and life are all recalibrating. That's going to take some time. So let's think about a few things. Good opening question would be, did anyone else feel like their brain was louder after they quit drinking? I know mine did. My brain got so loud. Oh, I remember the days of saying to myself, Dion, would you just shut up? Just shut up. All right. Amber, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's throw on a hat here. I'm just feeling like a hat is in order. There it is. Yeah. So we're going to talk about early sobriety. I'm going to let you know my first couple of months, and I tried for it took me 4 years to get off the hooch, but even then it was a few months before I would learn how to walk again, talk. I'm not kidding. It was the first couple months. I know we say 30 days, 1,000 nights. It was more like 90 days, a million years. I don't know. We all go to things differently. And you are certainly not required to go that far down before you get help. One thing that I would like to talk about real quick is this misnomer of the saying rock bottom. It does not exist. It's just fun to say. It's shocking, like toxic shock. All right, that was a word that we used to use, but yeah, it was for sale. Right. Anyway. All right. So here at Daily Trudge, we talk about the facts, what things are going on. I've been around for a little bit. I have a total of 19 years in the program. I've been a drug and alcohol counselor. Definitely done education. I go to libraries and stuff. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Monday to you. Are you sober today? Good choice. Good choice. What a great choice to make. Isn't it wonderful to have the choice? Now, you newcomers may not feel that way yet, but if you stick around, one day you will wake up and you will have the choice. It's pretty cool. It is. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Breaths, deep breaths, right? You'd figure after a certain amount of time that I wouldn't be nervous doing these things anymore. Nope. Nope. I still get nervous. I'm a little bit, I've had some practice, so I'm a little bit more smooth at it. I make it look like I'm not nervous, but yeah, I still get nervous doing this stuff. Not always easy to do. you know? Anyway, let's get started. We're talking about, what we're talking about is early sobriety and why it feels so strange. Your brain is rewiring. Alcohol changes dopamine, serotonin, and the GABA systems in your brain, right? And these are the synapses that tell you what to do, how to do things. Don't get mad at this. So, and what do we call that? Well, we call it unregulated emotions, at least for Dion. That's what I would call that, unregulated emotions, right? Um, what I was going to talk on was maintaining mental illnesses because yeah, I thought this would be a little bit better. Right. So when alcohol is removed, the brain temporarily overcorrects. So that means it goes too far the other way. Right. It's what the brain does. Right. We worry, we worry, we worry. What is the number one fear when we first get here? That we're going to slip. And it's a legitimate fear. That is a legitimate fear. That is not a boogeyman. Most of my fears were just boogeymen. They didn't exist. That fear was very much true. And it's the one fear we all feel. Right. Am I, and do I have a fear that I'm going to relapse now? No, I don't. Because I live in today, and today Dion has done what he's needed to do to stay sober today, to live in recovery. Right. But it took work to get there. And I had to understand some things. So, what are some of the early symptoms that you might experience in early sobriety? Insomnia, irritability, brain fog, restlessness, and emotional swings. Now, we're covering this because I want you to know that's normal. It's normal. That does not give you a ticket to be a jerk to the people around you. No, it does not. In the beginning, it's going to suck. It's going to feel that way. Okay? Now, there are some things going on, believe it or not. There are things happening. Okay? This is going to be very uncomfortable, but if you can make it through this part, and you can, I did, Amber did, all my listeners did, you can do it too. If we did it, I don't care who you are. Well, and don't hand us your excuses. Okay? I tell you right now, you're much better off saying, I'm an alcoholic. I just don't want to do anything about it. You'll get closer to recovery by admitting that truth. I just don't want to do anything about it right now. The consequences are, let's be honest about it, at least. And that's the honest, but try and get an alcoholic to admit that, right? So, ChatGPT is saying this is often called post-acute withdrawals. Okay. Post-acute withdrawals usually happen after 6 months. Okay. Post-acute, that means after the fact, and acute means a lot. It doesn't mean like a puppy or a little kitten or a baby, not that kind of acute. This is one word. Okay? So, and I'm just going to cover this part really, really quick. See, the problem is alcoholism looks like almost every other mental illness out there. So you might be, if you're not sober and you're not being honest with your doctor, you're probably diagnosed with something incorrect, which is no wonder why the meds aren't working. Right. So it looks like depression. It looks like social anxiety. It looks like PTSD. It looks like narcissism. Yes, it does. Am I a narcissist? No. Did I have narcissistic qualities? You bet your butt I did. Yes. Even to this day, those crop up. Those those might rear their ugly little head. I never know, right? But now I have the skills to work with those. So, if you are 3 months sober and still depressed, well, you just drank for 20 years and it was a depressant, this is not unusual. But if you are past 6 months and you're still experiencing those things and you have done the steps, That's the key. And you have done the steps, but you're still going through it. Now you're working with post-acute withdrawal symptoms. Please seek outside help. AA is not therapy. Smart Recovery is not therapy. Celebrate Recovery, Sobriety, these places are not recovery. Your recovery or professional, they're not therapy. Your recovery coaches, your peer support specialists, not therapy. No, you go see a licensed practitioner. Okay. And be choosy on who you pick for your therapist. You get to do that. All right. So that's actually post-acute withdrawal symptoms. And all of that could still happen, right? So feeling strange doesn't mean recovery isn't working. It just means that your brain, in a sense, is healing. Now, here's the unfortunate part. Unlike the liver, did you know you could destroy 80% of your liver? Again, not a challenge, and it'll come back 100% if you do the right things. Same with your kidneys. Yes, the liver can 100%. Almost everything in your body regenerates, unless you cut off a hand or something. But the brain does not. Thank God we only use a certain portion of it, so we got other areas. I think God did that on purpose. He's like, I've got to give them a bigger brain because they're going to destroy half their fucking cells with alcohol, which I did. There are parts of my memory that are gone. They're gone. So when it says here that the brain is healing, it isn't healing in the sense that those things are coming back. Now, the good thing is you can build new synapses. We talked about this in Take 12 radio earlier, a little bit. Well, I did. Right? So your brain creates these new synapses, and you do that by practicing. Okay? What you're doing is you're creating muscle memory in your brain so that the next time it happens, you just go to that. That is muscle memory. That is why we repeat everything so much. This is the third acceptance meeting I've been to on this week. Yeah, but people are saying different things. Right? All right. Like this month, you're going to have a lot of third step meetings. It's the third month. You talk about the third tradition a lot. It needs to be driven into my brain. I am creating practice, right? Here's the big one. And I don't know how many times I actually hear people say this. I feel like I'm 13 years old again. I feel like I'm 15 years old again. You are. You are emotionally. So when you start drinking, you get emotionally stunted. When you start drinking at 13, 14, 15, it stops there for an alcoholic. For other people, that may not happen. I don't see it happen. But in alcoholics, that is where we stay. I don't know why. This is the closest educated guess. Very much a guess. Okay. At 13, I started drinking. Something happened right then and there. Even to this day, my tummy is like, oh, I love that moment in time. I love that moment in time. I love thinking about that. It makes me feel good. It made me, I was finally accepted. That's why. And I wanted to be that again. But it would never happen again. Right. So when alcohol suppresses the emotions, suddenly people start feeling their feelings again. Anger, guilt, sadness, joy, fear, regret, shame, blame. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on because you haven't been, or Dion, I'll use I statement on this one, because Dion wasn't confronting his problems. He was not working on his problems. I just let him pile up so that I could drink. If you had my problems, you'd drink too. Well, Dion, a lot of your problems don't exist. And the other ones are perfectly reasonable to work on. Weird, right? But they come back in a flood. And I'm going to tell you, I'll let you know now, it's going to hurt. It's already hurting. But it's going to get better. And it's going to get better soon. Not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but within a month, 2 months. And I know that when you're detoxing, a month seems, gosh, it seems so out of reach. But time starts to speed up again when you hit that 30 days. Time starts to speed up again. Yeah. Because the older you get, the faster life goes. If you haven't experienced that yet, you ain't old enough, right? So this is why the fellowship and the meetings matter. People help normalize those feelings so that you're not like, am I the only one going through this? No, you are not. So here's the good news. What you're going through is normal. It's what happens. What does that mean? It means even though it hurts, you're on the right track, right? So when the alcohol is gone, right, the obsession of the mind becomes clearer and your thoughts might race, right? And then control strategies start to appear. Well, I can do this and I'll do that. We start thinking that we can do this, do that, self realization. Now that I know I'm an alcoholic and I've convinced myself of it, well, then I should be good. And I understand that. But the problem is at that point, we don't understand that the alcohol wasn't the problem. It was the solution to our problems, a very bad solution. A very, very bad solution, right? My thoughts would race. Oh, man. I do not miss those days. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to let you know now, and I dealt with other things. My mind did not stop racing until about 5, 6 years, maybe even later than that, because of my PTSD. And I had ignored my PTSD and my other mental health problems, and they came back with a vengeance. They were not going to be ignored anymore. I've had to face a lot of difficult things in these last 10 years. But I love my life. I love it so much, I would do it again. I mean, the last 10 years. So I'm going to. I'm going to continue staying sober one day at a time. Just like I have been. Right? So your brain may say things like, maybe I wasn't that bad. Maybe I can drink normally later. Maybe this wasn't the problem. And that's where our sponsors and the steps and the fellowships step in and they start to become important because they can tell you, right? They can tell you, no, it was that bad. It was. See, your brain's going to think that because it is feeling better, that it is okay to drink, right? $4.40 for mid-grade. Oh, ouch. Ouch. Oh. And I'm glad I have the car I do. $20 will last me all week. And I hardly leave. Oh, Amber. So I keep meaning to tell you this. Remember, my car kept dying. I kept draining the battery. It was that flashing light for the old alarm. I cut it off. Haven't had a problem since. So just want to let you know that. Other people don't care, but I know that, So I wanted to let you know. Then steps in the spiritual melody. Restlessness, irritable, and discontent until we can find the thing that gives us the ease and comfort which comes at once by taking a few drinks. It's in the doctor's opinion. And that is the spiritual experience. I do get ease and comfort, and it can come almost immediately if I decide that that's what I want, that's the attitude I'm going to follow. You bet you can start your day over anytime you want. Right now is a great time to start your day over. If you got a bad attitude, if you're feeling a certain way that isn't necessarily geared towards helping other people, start your day over. Maybe you got up, stubbed your toe, right? Then you broke your favorite coffee cup. And the rest of the day you're running around waiting for the third bad thing to happen. Because they come in threes, and you know what's going to happen if you do that. The third bad thing will happen. It will. It'll be something minute. That guy cut me off. You had no power. You had no control. Something will happen, but you will deem it as the third thing. Don't do that to yourself. It's not very fair to you. Right? So early sobriety often reveals that feeling clearly, but we don't quite know what it is, do we? Like that feeling uncomfortable in your own skin. And I'm not just talking about detoxing, I'm talking about living alone in your own brain without the alcohol and an hour at a time on your hands with nothing to do. You know, I would find something to do pretty quick, even if it's mowing the yard. This is where the beginning of sobriety, I don't think we used to really enforce it. The living amends. See, part of the living amends is keeping your butt busy so you don't drink. That's part of the reason. That honey to-do list you need to do. Go do it. Does the dog poop need to be put away? Do it. Do the laundry. Do the baseboards. There is something to be done. Go do it. Okay? We'll cover some other things that you could do in early sobriety too. All right? So, this is where the spiritual practices start to come in from that spirituality of, feeling uncomfortable in your own skin, feeling disconnected, feeling lost. I don't know how many times I hear people say, I just want clear-cut directions. Okay, here you go. It's a big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. In here are all the clear-cut directions. But if you have not done them, then you're going to need somebody to explain it to you, because the alcoholic mind all on its own will not understand this book. No, it won't. You need a guide. Some people might. I wouldn't have been. Maybe that's a good I place to put right? So Dion needed direction. Otherwise, I wouldn't have understood this book. But I think it's kind of true for all of us, because I'm kind of smart. You're smart. Most alcoholics are very, very intelligent. We are. So I wouldn't call me very, very intelligent. I think I'm kind of smart. That's about it. I'm more of a smart ass than I am actually smart, right? Right. So I played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I know, because you're like, I wasn't a nerd. Nerds get good grades. I was a geek, and I'm still a geek. Yes, I am. I'm a geek, right? Not a nerd. Nerds get good grades. I do not. What are some practical things that can help you in early sobriety? First one's going to sound kind of weird. Make sure that you have sugar on hand in the first 30 days. Oh, I don't eat or drink sugar. Bullshit. Alcohol converts sugar in the body. Not only that, but alcohol is made up of like 30% sugar. Yes, it has a lot of sugar in it. It is not surprising that a lot of recovered alcoholics are diabetic. Okay. Keep some Jolly Ranchers around. Keep a couple in your pocket, so that when those cravings pop up, you may not really be having a craving for alcohol as much as you are having a craving for sugar. Yes. Keep some sweets around. That doesn't mean you need to go buy 2 big barrels of Jolly Ranchers. Okay. Silly alcoholic. All right. So candy, chocolate, soda, fruit. If you don't want to really keep like regular sugar around, then have fruit on hand. Things that are high in sugar. I don't know the fruits that are high in sugar. But I would probably keep those kinds around if you don't want to go that route. Okay. Personally, I'd rather just have a Snickers because it tastes better than a banana. But I should start eating bananas instead. So, and what does it do? It can help you calm your craving. What are some other things that you may, eat regularly? Okay. If you eat 3 times a day, but try and stay regular when you're in, okay? Because what we're talking about next is you don't want to get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Make sure you eat. Get a sponsor so you can help with that anger. Loneliness, get to some meetings, create a fellowship, find a home group, a home group. It is that has got to be reinforced again because I haven't been hearing it. It is very important that you find a home group. So that way, when you don't show up one day, they wonder where you were at. We have got an alcoholic of our type, of my type. We need to be 100% accountable 100% of the time. Time does not give a qualification on that. No, it doesn't. Okay. I still have to be 100% accountable to this day. Difference is I'm used to it. Did you know that normal people tell people where they're going and when they'll be back and what they're doing? Did you know that? Yeah, see? They're not asking that. Why are you picking me? And why do I gotta do that? Everybody does that. It's called being accountable. Right? You just want to be sneaky because alcoholics love getting away with things. We love getting away with it. That's the thrill. Right? Sleep when all else fails. Go take a nap. Go take a nap. Right? Naps are okay. Routine helps. Avoid expecting perfect sleep early. It's going to take a little while, but I will tell you right now, there's going to be a time within the first month or so, right? Happens to most people in the first month. You'll wake up because you finally got a good night's sleep and it's the first time, and you're going to feel rested and you're going to feel great. You're going to feel like you're on top of the world. Oh, you're going to love life. It's going to be great. So I highly recommend you get your butt to a meeting immediately because the excitement will take your ass out. Get to a meeting. Tell somebody what a great day you're having. Claim that day, I am not going to drink. You've got to say it. All right? Get to a meeting. Telling you those times when you feel really good. What is that? That is the grace of God. So what should you do? Double down on God. When things go good, double down on God. Why wouldn't you? All right? A lot of people say I felt strange in meetings, so I realized everyone else felt the same way. So talk to other alcoholics. You got to get some connection. Light exercise, walking, stretching, fresh air. Okay. Even while I'm doing this, do you ever notice I stretch almost every single time? I stretch all the time as part of my movement. You see me moving all the time, but that's more my ADHD as much as I'm regulating. You see me stem. I copy things. I'm regulating myself. If I don't do those things, I get out of whack. And then I go wacky. And we all know what happens when we go wacky. All right. So get some fresh air. Go take a walk. All right. So, it says, yeah, now it's all, here's some chat questions that will get you engagement. It put it at the end. That didn't do me any good. All right. I guess I should have read it first. I don't totally cover what Chat GPT says because for me, it's just a reminder of what it is that I'm talking about. So I don't always read it, but I guess I should. All right. So early sobriety is strange because your brain is healing and your emotions are waking up. But this is good. Your life is changing. Hey, life is changing. You might be the last person to see it. Okay. So keep that in mind too. But over time, and if you do the work, if you get a sponsor, if you go to meetings and you do the work, I promise you, over time, clarity will show up, stability, and then peace. Right? So here's the thing. Here's the key. If early sobriety feels strange, you're probably doing it right. Julie Lemon, who's my wife, by the way. Okay. One of my wife's favorite artists is Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son. And Heather, which is Shannon's oldest, used to call him Julie Lemon. So that's why we use Julie Lemon. It's just kind of a play on words. She says, "You sound like you're a professional motivational speaker. Only highly intelligent people can do that." It's not wrong. Why is it always the hardest to take compliments from my wife? Why is that? Huh. I'm gonna have to look at that. Probably because it's hard for Dion to hear the truth. That's why. We'll just call it that. Amber says $60 to fill my truck. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. That stinks. All right. Well, I gotta be hopping in a meeting in about 4 minutes, so I guess I should go ahead and wrap this up. I certainly hope that this helps people if you're newer in sobriety. Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and keep on trudging.